just round the corner. It's another year, another proud child whose sorrow stands unspoken. They know she's leaving to survive. If somebody wants to be somebody. Oh, yes, yes, yes. Welcome back in. This is Mr. Rogers here, going to knock a little bit on the door here and talk some trash about music about Georgie Porgy, or Harry's in town. We're going to George Harrison. We did John Lennon, and it's time to move on to George Harrison. George Harrison everybody knows about it. I'm not going to educate anybody about here. There's a couple real good ones if you poke your head around the net, a couple real professional looking ones. I'm just going to talk about the music and the effect that it had on me. To tell you the truth, George Harrison had a huge effect on me. And one of my guys, locally around town around this area was just a fantastic guitar player. His name is Jim Roderick. I actually took lessons for him in the summer, and All Things Must Pass kind of served as our lesson thing. He said, well, what songs do you want to learn? So I just kind of pulled out that record. I said, teach me that. So those are some of the first songs that I ever learned on guitar. And I always love George's stuff here, but let's talk about these. Let's talk these records down. Everybody knows people do great things about the history of that. Remember, smash the like button. Remember to help us out on the podcast. We're going to get moving here. And I'm going to get started here. I have 12 of these records I'm going to put out. I didn't count any of these additional ones. And let me tell you about a couple of these that I have here that took me a long time to get this one. This took me a long time. I'm talking about Live in Japan, the one that George came back and played with Clapton and those guys. I Want to Tell You, Old Brown Shoe, Taxman. Interesting record. You can tell he's uncomfortable doing it, and it's a one in a lifetime thing, and you can hear that Clapton kind of smoothness with it, but at the same time, I think it was a great record. I think I got this from VC Vinyl. I think they had this. Don't know how these things ended up making it to that space, but yeah, Live in Japan was kind of a shock. I remember when it came out. I had the record in my car that I listened to a lot. I haven't started this thing yet, guys. Let me get this thing down here. I don't know why in the world I can't get it to slide down. It won't slide here. Is it too? I don't know what the deal is here, but anyway. Let's get started with this. I want to show you, let me show you one more thing here. One more thing is this. Everybody talks about this record. It's okay, man. This living in the material world stuff. You've got some of the demos from his stuff previously unreleased. It's an audio companion to the George Harrison deal here. And then I have some additional copies of some stuff here that for some reason I went through. I have a lot of copies of some of these Georgie things. But anyway, let's get started, man. Let's get started. Back in the days when anybody could fart, whistle, or whatever, push a thing and make noises on that, we got this from George. It's just a bunch of electronic goobly. You've heard it before. It's not really a composition. Not really something that you call composition. It's on Zapple Records. It's called Electronic Sound. And it's basically one long thing that's interesting you can do on a synthesizer, but really would not comprise a record for anybody like ourselves or something like that. It's kind of a time. And that's all I'll say about it. That's it. Next would be another one from the same time period. We're talking about the early times. I'm talking about the first one, 1968, even a little bit more weird than that. I'm talking about Wonderwall music, and the fact that it's a Wonderwall music and it was made like this, it blows my mind that Oasis has a huge hit with this song, and there's really nothing, it's not really a Wonderwall to be here. They're little instrumental pieces edited together. If you've heard this before, it's really hard to call a record. Love Scene, Crying, Party Seacombe. I mean, you've got Microbes, Red Lady 2, Drilling a Hole, Guru Venuru. I mean, it's okay. But again, noodling. waffling, not really a serious project, an experimental project. And to George, that unfortunately meant delivering what he thought was kind of a wide angled project that I don't know, man. I mean, what are you going to say about it? I don't. I'm not crazy about it. If you've heard it and you'd like it, defend it. I think maybe one day what we need to do is have a countdown between Life with the Lions. It's funny, I counted in George, but I didn't count it in John. I don't know. I'm just trying to get somewhere in George's thing. Let's go to 1981, and let's go to a record where he started to get rejections and stuff like this. We're talking about George's record that he made here somewhere in England with all those years ago. Blood from a Clone, Unconsciousness Rules, all those years ago, Baltimore Oriole. The second side, Hong Kong Blue, Writings on the Wall, Save the World, engineered, produced by Ray Cooper. Ray, and engineer Phil McDonald. This is a record that really is troublesome. I mean, to me, it's seriously questionable about putting this in. As far you've got great musicians here, but you see George with the acupuncture there. Maybe that's part of the problem. Maybe it's Willie Weeks is on, of course, Gary Booker, Al Cooper, Tom Scott, Ray Cooper on production, of course. But it's weird that Ray Cooper would be producing this thing. I think he's a strange person to pick out as a producer, but they did, and that's why it is just, to me, is it really a dud. I don't like it. It's 1981 and a little better than this, and I think it gets a little bit of a bad rap is my number 9 record, which would be Gone Troppo. It's a little weird. He's trying to get new wavy, I guess, trying to get something happening here. This is from 1982. Wake Up My Love, Gone Troppo, of course, Dream Away, Circles. But I'll tell you, I like the sound of it better, and I think it's more of a cohesive product than Somewhere in England. But again, it's a Dark Horse production, and really, truthfully, you kind of get the feeling from the estate that this is one that they kind of like to forget about. And I don't think it's that bad. I mean, I think it's a decent work, but it is a little bit troubling when you hear that George, George is thought of as one of the great Beatles. And, truthfully, when you examine his studio catalog closely, it's surprising. It's surprising that it's in a way that it's as weak as it is. And let's go to 1979 next. I'm going to go to George Harrison here. Something that I think this bears a lot of resemblance to the Somewhere in England, the same sort of problem that it has a lot of mid-tempo songs, has a lot of songs that don't sound really exciting. Love Comes to Everyone, Not Guilty, of course, was a big, the remake of the Beatles. Everybody heard the bootleg, boom, bam, da, that riff. That was a big deal. Here Comes the Moon. Blow Away is a great song. I will give you that. But Your Love Is Forever, If You Believe, Soft Touch. I think the second, this is a Russ Titleman record. Again, this is another one I think that was rescued. I don't know what the deal is with it, but at the same time, not one of the more exciting ones, although I will say Blow Away is a beautiful song. And I don't know why a lot of stuff didn't happen more along that line, but that is gonna be my number. What is that? 8, I guess. Gone. That's gonna be my number 8. After Gone Troppo was number 9, and we're gonna go to number 7 now, and we're gonna go to Extra. It's Extra. Oh no, not him again, right? This is kind of what happened. I think this is a record that happened right after the tour went out in 1974, and kind of some of it was a disaster because of his voice, and his voice truthfully was singing loud and hard, never came out of it. And in a way, I love that song. It's a leadoff song on Extra Texture. Read all about it. I think You's one of the great songs he sang, but really his voice sounds like he's really down there. And I think it's kind of funny. The song is, in a way, is kind of sidestepping, right? He had the plagiarism thing with My Sweet Lord and all that stuff happening. And this Guitar Can't Keep From Crying's good. Ooh Baby's a good song. World of Stone. But Jim Keltner's on this loudly here. His name is Legs, and that's Andy Newmark on the last one. But you've got a lot of these same people. The guest vocals, Larry Lake Smith, of course, that's what they were. But Gray Cloudy Skies is a beautiful. Hey, David Foster's actually on that. But the truth of it is, some of the stuff is really, really strong on this record, but at the same time, I don't think there's enough of it. And that's what relegates it to me to a number 7 position on the countdown. Now for number 6, and it's surprising. We're already at number 6, and there's really, do I want to say it? Do I not want to say it? In my opinion, somewhat spotty quality. I mean, I don't know if George wasn't interested in making music or making music to play live, but to me, his records are rife with an abundance of hit and miss tracks. They have all the records have great tracks, a couple great tracks on, and there never could be one more truthful than this one. I'm talking about the Hare Krishna Center Dark Horse, and I'm a dark horse. With his voice, man, so it was a tour from this Ding Dong, Far East Man, which is kind of, a decent song, but it kind of, it sounds like a Ron Wood thing or something. It sounds like, it just sounds similar to that. And it sounds in that era of a lazy sort of written thing. And there was in a Bye Bye Love, of course. So sad, Simply Shady. Harry's on tour, Hey, good record, exciting record, because in a way exciting because I knew that the tour was connected to it. I was too young to go at the time, but I was aware of this record when this record came out. Again, I was just a little bit too young other than to buy some of the singles and stuff at about that time, and I just followed it. I followed it religiously here, and that is Dark Horse, and that is at number 6. Now we're going to get into the time at the end, and it's funny that I put it up this high. Some people think it should be higher. I'm talking about the last one, baby. If you don't know where you're going, any road will take you there. Brainwashed. I thought a stupendous record. You look at the beautiful shaped trees there in the middle. I guess that's George's Place. Between the Devil and the Deep Blue Sea, Rocking Chair in Hawaii, Brainwash, what a great song. Stuck Inside a Cloud, Any Road, Rising Sun, Marwa Blues. I just think a non-gaff record. I did not at this time give any kind of an F to what anybody wanted. Decided he was going to do what he was going to do, and wanted to make the statement that he was going to make. And I think lyrically, the record is very strong. It's probably one of the strongest lyrical records of any that he's done. People don't understand. People could not. George and John both were somewhat misunderstood as far as I think what the public's expectation were, because they were so painted in such a commercial thing. And Paul was really able to traverse that better, even though Paul got around it too. They had side projects that were totally not commercial, like the Fireman and stuff. But anyway, this record kind of reminds me of him just coming out of the blue at the end, being ill during part of this, but really just kind of making it and kicking it forward. And when we're talking about kicking it forward, let's talk about the one that really did the most commercial damage for one of the new one. I'm talking about The Helping Hand of Jeff Lynne, Surrounding the Traveling Wilburys. Everything else, I'm talking about Cloud 9. Huge commercial success. I remember so vividly a girl that worked, a friend of mine that worked from Minneapolis, that worked at my record store originally. Her name was Beth Wakefield. She worked there. And these little girls came in that knew her. And I don't know how she knew them, but they were in there singing George. They wanted to hear George Harrison. So they got in there. They were so happy just to hear the song. And I never liked the song, Got My Mind Set on You, but you've got to realize that it was set up to set him up as a beyond what I could see. Look at all the great guys you got on here. You got the beautiful thing of him back again. You got the All-Stars here. Really, really nice. What a lineup, man. Good old Gringo there playing drums, playing drums good. Cloud Nine, if that's what it takes, fish on the sand just for today. To me, This Is Love is pretty damn good. And then you got When We Was Fab, the big thing with Ringo. That shit, man. He can swing so good on that stuff. Devil's Radio, of course, people like it. Record that has his breath away from heaven, got my mind set on you. So I don't think the second side is quite as good as the first side. And I think surprisingly that this is thought of as such a big record for him. And I want to say it in a nice way, but the fact that it's not a better record than that is somewhat shocking. But I think it's a really solid record. It's a solid record. It's a pop record. It's a Jeff Lynne record, no question about it. From the drums down to the vocal sounds, and he got just like he had the Wilburys, man. And that's really George led the way into the Wilbury sound, and that's the Jeff Lynne sound, and that's kind of where we're at with that. Let's go with number. Hold on here. I got to get this stuff all together. This stuff's I got it a wreck. All right, man. Let's go with, what, I got 3 left, and you know which 3 I have left. And you can see the back of it sitting over here, can't you? I'm going to keep this other stuff down so you can't see that anymore. Not good. You know what that is. Those in the know what that is. That's a back cover of this song. And nothing funky about it. Ain't black or white, as far as I know. Ain't nobody's copyright, so... What a great song, man. This record, when it came out, I remember when it came out, Dear One Beautiful Girl, this song, beautiful. It's about what you value, true love. Pure Smokey, man. Smokey Robinson and Cracker Box Palace, of course, was a great hit. Learning How to Love You, but it's the production of this record. And this record sounds so different. And it's produced by George Harrison, man. And this is what finally did it. You take a look at some of the inside stuff here. You take a look at where they were. And at the time, it's 1979. Nobody really thought at the time when all this stuff was happening here. Not 1979, I'm sorry. It's 1976. Before 1979. So it's still, you're still talking in the period of time when he was still thought of as the miracle guy. And but at this point in 1976, I mean, you're talking Extra Texture was the one he was coming off of. So this is quite a pop bounce back from Extra Texture, which just had you. And that's 33 in the third. And that's going to leave me really with 2 records left. Everybody knows which ones they were. They were the first 2 records that George Harrison had. And we're going to go with number 2. Of course, 1973, Give Me Love, Give Me Love, Give Me Peace on Earth. This record, when it came out, there was something about it, something about the sound of that particular song, which was mesmerizing to a lot of people. A lot of people heard that and thought, this is not coming from a person that's normally thinking about the normal life. I mean, it sounded like he had a special life. And he did. You can see there he's got Klaus Werman playing all the bass on the whole thing. They're sitting there. You've got Ringo there and Jim Keltner there, and Try Some, Buy Some on here. Give Me Love, Sue Me, Sue You Blues. Living in the Material World. The Lord Loves the One. Be Here Now. Try Some, Buy Some, and that is all. Sri Krishna here gets all the glory. And you look at this record, man, and it's something else. I mean, this is, when you get this inside, dude, this is the inside thing. This is only available on the first one. This is full on Hare Krishna here, baby. Full on. You can't say George wasn't committed to the church. You can't say George wasn't ready to give it all up. I mean, he and Townsend and the bunch, they were committed to their religious beliefs and religious stuff. And so let's go with For number one, man, we are going with, of course, the one I told you that I learned all the songs on right here. When this thing came out, I don't think anybody realizes this was 1970. This had a lot of people, and I'm talking about a large majority of people, convinced that George Harrison was the best writer in the Beatles. And at this point, somewhere, the thing about George's career is interesting because obviously some point along the way he lost the plot or lost the desire to do it. The songs on this are otherworldly. We know what they are. I'd have you anytime. My sweet Lord, wah wah. Isn't it a pity? Wow. What is life? Da na 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 da na na na. Behind the Locked Door, If Not For You with Dylan, Let It Down, Run of the Mill. And those are the ones that I like, Let It Down. Beware of Darkness, Apple Scruffs, Frankie Crisp. I learned that was one first one that I learned. I wanted to hear that descending. Da-na-na, Pete Drake, da-na-na, da-na-na, da-na. Dun, dun, dun. Just the way the echo of the Spectre on this record. This record has such a dark, it sounds like it was recorded in an old place. You can hear the age of the stuff with the echo and the sound of it. It's kind of ghostly in certain ways, like Frankie Crisp and All Things Have Fed, The Art of Dying, man. Oh my God. But again, I'm doing this. I'm one of the ones that will sign a petition saying, yes, I wish this was a 2-record set rather than a 3-record set. That last jam, Apple Jam thing, I mean, I just can't believe you get talked into adding another record. The same thing like with jamming with Edward, the Rolling Stones and stuff. How do these things end up, especially this one, how did this end up part of this great record? I mean, it's great. You got Alan White on it from Yes. You've got Jim Gordon. You've got Ringo Starr. And you can tell Alan White on Let It Roll, the fast foot. He's got like the need to snap back more of a beat. Jim Gordon's got more of, you know how Gordon is. For Christ's sake, Gordon's one of the greats of all time. And I'm really surprised that Keltner's not on there. I think Keltner was on the second one and third one. Klaus Vorman, Gary Wright, Bobby Whitlock, Billy Preston, Gary Brooker, I mean, Christ, Pete Drake, Clapton, Dave Mason, Badfinger on some of this stuff, Mal Evans, come on, man, Ken Scott, Phil McDonald, fantastic guys. Anyway, what I want to say to y'all is that all things must pass. I'm not saying anything anybody hasn't said before. This is one of the seminal records of all time, and is probably the greatest solo Beatles record made. I mean, the big thing comes with that extra jam record. I mean, if you take that extra jam record out, I don't think it's debatable, really. I mean, I think it's better. I love a lot of Lennon stuff, and McCartney's records are fabulous too. And we got to do McCartney coming up. McCartney's a little more work. Same with maybe Ringo. We'll get to Ringo too, but. This is my number one. It's probably your number one. Tell me if it's your number one. Tell me all about your list. Smash that like button. Subscribe to this channel, please. And let me know your list and your thoughts about Georgie. A lot of people, that's their favorite ones. You know, I had a couple girlfriends in D.C. who said George was the only one. And they had all the George records, and they were big George fans. Even some of those ones in the 70s, like they're shaky, you know, that I had somewhere down near the bottom, like Troppo and Extra Texture and Somewhere in England and the George Harrison record. All those records, is surprisingly that a guy of this stature did make this album, could make those records less than 10 years later. And then he bounces back and goes out on a high note with the last couple of records. So an interesting career for George, I guess, where he put his attention. Like for a while, he was, you know, helping him out with helping Eric Idle and those guys out make the Ruddles and make different things like that. And thank God for him, man. I think he's a great soul, a great person, and his heart and his emphasis was always in the right place. And we'll miss you, George, forever, man. You guys, leave your list, leave your George stories, leave anything you want to leave at the end. But please do me a favor, smash the like button again and subscribe for us. And leave your thoughts on George, especially this record. This record's awesome. It's one of my favorites of all time. I learned to play guitar to this record. Anyway, thanks a lot. You guys have a good evening, and we will catch you next time. Somebody has to pray, 'cause somebody's